All right, we'll wrap up our lunchtime posts here. So it is very windy today in San Francisco, and I'm hanging out at the dog park on my lunch break, and I've gotten to say hi to a lot of people's dogs. Have we no shame? Donald Trump is castigated by a judge sickened by an absolutely appalling ruling. A federal judge smacked down the Trump administration's efforts to drastically cut grants to the National Institutes of Health, delivering a scathing rebuke, calling out the government's clear case of racial and LGBTQ discrimination. Happy Pride Month, by the way. The Trump administration cut NIH grants as part of a sweeping effort to combat waste, fraud, and abuse in federal spending. The administration has targeted non-essential programs related to diversity, equity, and inclusion, with Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. testifying that officials aim to eliminate DEI funding and redirect resources toward real poverty reduction. I guess unless you fall into a DEI category, who knows? That guy's insane also. We will fund cutting-edge research at the NIH while cutting risky or non-essential services, he said. On Monday afternoon, earlier today, Politico's Kyle Cheney reported that Judge William Young, an appointee of Ronald Reagan, declared the cuts illegal and void and ordered many of them restored. Quote, "I am hesitant to draw this conclusion, but I have an unflinching obligation to draw it, that these cuts represent racial discrimination and discrimination against America's LGBTQ community. That is what this is. I would be blind not to call that out. My duty is to call that out." Young called it palpably clear that the directives and the specific terminated grants were designed to frustrate, to stop research that may bear on the health. We're talking about health here, the health of Americans, of our LGBTQ community, and that is appalling. Young said he had never seen a record where racial discrimination was so palpable. He said, "I have sat on this bench for 40 years. I've seen government racial discrimination and I've never seen government racial discrimination like this. I ask myself, how can this be?" The judge said he has a duty to speak the truth in every case and questioned if he hadn't had constitutional protections to do so, meaning a lifetime appointment, would he have stood up against all of this? Would I have said, "You can't do this? You are bearing down on people of color because of their color. The Constitution will not permit that." And he concluded by saying, "Have we fallen so low? Have we no shame?" Well, as it relates to Donald Trump and RFK Jr., the answer to that question is no. They don't give a shit about shame. They have absolutely no shame, and they're both incredibly racist, homophobic, and transphobic. So there you go. Anyway, from DuBose Park in San Francisco, happy Pride Month, everybody.